I mean, that's what we needed. We need the win. But my God, can you not make it that stressful, Leicester? Leicester City, well, Sunderland 0, Leicester City 1. I know, where do we even start with that one?
Got away with it, 100% there. Quite an odd game. First 15 minutes, I think, is actually some of the best I've seen us play. For maybe even the best 15 minutes at all season. Maybe the Southampton game, you mentioned that to me. But after we went on up, we literally stopped playing. I felt we stopped playing. The second half, I don't think we ever even started. And in the end, I think Sunderland will feel hard done by. They had a shot that Hermansen tipped onto the crossbar. They could have got a penalty for Cody handballing it in the area. And right at the end, for me, not a penalty, but you've seen them given. I mean, we'll take it. But to be fair, we played Sunderland twice. We've got 6 points out of them. Conceivably, we could have come across away with 2. And I don't think we could really complain. So we take it and we move on. But look, I think, to be honest, though, we do have to say still, regardless, we've got the points. And when you've lost 3 in a row, it doesn't really matter what the next performance is. It is about the result. And from now, if you're asking me, it won't be comfortable. But if every single game was like that between now and the end of the season, but we won every single game, you're taking that all day, every day.
We are, but the heart pressure, the blood pressure goes through the roof. But again,
we're in a title race, though, right? That's what a title race is about. When we won the Premier League, I mean, I remember games against Newcastle, against Sunderland, actually, at the Stadium of Light. Do you remember that one? Where we played pretty awful, to be honest with you, and we still got the points and went away with it. So it is squeaky bum time of the season. But yeah, I'm interested to see what this man thinks about that. I'm glad he's got a smile on his face, because I got a feeling that it could easily have been another passionate rant from that.
I think we're at that stage of the season where performances are massively important. It's just points on the board, particularly after the run that we've just been on. I don't know if this is just because I watched it in real time and I haven't seen a replay back of it yet. I think we massively got away with one right at the end. I don't know if if I watch a replay, it's going to change my opinion, but that looked like a penalty to me.
I think he potentially went down a little bit before, but in real time, I think referees 50-50 give that, because there's a pullback in the box, the player goes down, and in real time, I looked at that and went, that's a penalty.
Do you know what's scandalous about that one, though, is before it even gets to Hamza, someone else had the opportunity just to take the player out, which they should have done.
But I'll tell you what, we have had so many crap decisions this year. It's about time we got one in our favour.
It's one way of looking at it. I mean, we coming into the game, we always start with the beginning. We rotated a little bit in terms of the team. And we decided again from the last team playing Fast, Nelson, and JJ at the back. Fast was the only one that kept their place and he moved position. So we were playing again. Hermansen, Cody, Doyle came in. Fast, and then obviously up top, Jamie Vardy changed the player, came in. Eunice then came in as well for the injured Pratt. But coming into that game, the leadership that we needed. The reason why we're going to go into a little bit of the formation, we want to make sure that the formation is there. However, one of the things we lacked in the QPR game is that leadership, especially towards the end of the game. I don't know if we particularly saw that, Anil, too much. With it was dogged. It was every man for themselves. Time we couldn't hold a ball. It was all over the place.
But we did get the points, so I know what you mean. I think it's different because if we'd have needed to win and we were coming from behind, I don't see us pulling it off there. But luckily, we didn't need to do that. I will say that I do remember, around the 85th, 86th minute, they had corner after corner, set piece after set piece. And I saw Cody and Fast, proper almost chest bumping one another and be like, come on, we're not going to let this go. And they were kind of throwing themselves at it. I mean, I'm not necessarily saying it was great defending, but ultimately it didn't go in. So I think that was to it.
Sorry, the Ipswich penalty got saved. Sorry, carry on. Sorry.
Did even look? Do you know what they're like with they'll probably still win that, and knowing them, they've got the best come from behind ratio.
Sorry, sorry to interrupt.
Edit that out in the post, but
when they go on to win it 3-2, edit that out for me.
Exactly. But yeah, look, it's funny because all those subs, we started the game really, really well. We it felt like it was going to be one of those games where we throw everything at the keeper and don't score. So early on, Mavadidi cut it back and he just put it behind Patel, so that could easily have been 1-0. Then Yunus had a shot and Vardy had a shot at the keeper and we didn't score there. And it was like, oh my God, we could have been 3-0 up by now. Then we got a corner and we scored off the corner, but their keeper still made a fantastic save from Faz's header. But then luckily Vardy got the tap in. And up until that point, it was like, wow, this is actually fantastic. All the players that came in, Doyle, Cody, Yunus even, I think they were having strong games. And then I just think that, to be honest with you, it's a complaint I've had of this team all season long, is that after we score a goal, we back off way too much and we allow them to get into it. And we were joking saying, it was a bit like sort of leaving Coca-Cola out for too long. It was just a very flat performance, except, the taste wasn't even there. So, yeah, that was my take on it anyway.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, coming into the beginning of the game and the formation, I mean, and the first 15 minutes we played was some of the best football that we've played this season. There was opportunities, chances. We need to take them a little bit more, but there was so many good opportunities that we just missed our opportunities, I think, a little bit. But in the first half, we really just took it to another level. We were, I think, me and Anil were saying, we were probably there was, again, Patson had to make a double save. I was having Bournemouth notes open there. I was like, that doesn't make sense. Got with the bicycle kick. Oh, wait. Mavadidi with, again, a little bit of a pass as well. In the first 15 minutes, we were really strong in that game. And I was finally thinking, okay, Leicester City that we know in that terms of play is back. We were good for 50 minutes.
The thing for me was, and I don't know how much people will notice this. I think Doyle playing off the left, being naturally left-footed, it opens up a complete different angle for us to be able to play down. And it's also the same. The ball that, oh, for God's sake, Ipswich have scored.
Knew it. Absolutely knew it. Yeah.
The Doyle with his left foot, he opens up those sort of like complete different angles. And I also think having Vardy running off the shoulder, it's like it was sort of it worked really well. Something to say also about the end of the game, which I don't know if this is why it felt slightly like, I know Sunderland had a lot of balls into the box and like second half wasn't great, but it never felt as vulnerable as we have in previous games. I don't know if that's something to do with Ndidi's added physicality and height compared to when you've been bringing on either Yunus or whoever it might be in that position. Because then, whilst they're lumping balls into the box, we've got Doyle, who's more physical and dominant in the air than Justin, and Ndidi, who's just, again, physical and quite good in the air. So I think you had more sort of defensive solidity there when we were putting men behind the ball than we've had for a while.
I would agree with that. I think that was actually, he started off a bit slow indeed. I actually felt when Kel came on, it helped as well, even though he didn't get involved with the game too much. But it did feel that we seemed a lot more resolute. And Yunus, I don't think had necessarily a bad game, but I felt that, like, you're right, as soon as Ndidi came on, we looked a lot more stable. And I think that does say a lot. And to be fair, that has been something Maresca said, that, like, it's like the physicality of the player makes a big difference. And having someone who's that physically dominant helps you out a lot. So that was kind of good to see in that regard. I definitely agree with you with Doyle. He had a strong first half for sure. I do think that you see kind of like the two sides of him. There was like one point where the ball got played over the top and he kind of went weakly for the header and their Sunderland striker flicked it on over him, and then luckily it was offside, so it kind of got called back. But at the same time, on the ball, he did some lovely stuff. He did like a great inside channel pass. He did a little roulette in the second half, I saw, to spin out of trouble. With getting forward in the attack. And I do think against QPR, something we lacked is that both the wide centre backs, when the other team is parking the bus so much, you need them to come forward and start making underlapping runs to like help out with the attack. And neither of them were as good, whereas having Doyle and Fast to some extent does help with that. So definitely a good point there.
I think with I don't know if we said this when we were live last time or if it was when we were off stream. It would be interesting to see Doyle in that middle role because he has got that that ability on the ball and like a really good passing range. But
is that just with his left foot though? With somebody like Vestergaard, he's good with both feet. I don't know how good Doyle is with his right foot.
To be fair, with Vestergaard, a lot comes off his right foot. I know he can play off his left foot, but it's one of those that it's almost because of the position Doyle's been playing as a sort of that natural left back, everything is off his left foot.
I'll bring this up just because, again, the formation-wise, especially in that first half where we were getting the best out of him, was he was playing alongside Mavididi and he was delivering some wicked balls into the box in the first 20 minutes. Vardy was getting on the head of it and he was like more. And I remember Jamie Vardy clapping, not clapping, he was like, I want more of those. I want more. Keep delivering those balls in. And I think when you play him, you have to play two players like a Fuss and a Cody that can cover him behind. If you're playing him and Vestergaard, I think the pace behind them can get away from them a little bit.
Sorry, mate. Can you still hear me? Because you've gone all fuzzy on mine.
Sorry, mate. I think my internet's gone a bit fuzzy.
Yeah, I can hear you both, but hopefully it's all there. Do you know what? I feel like this stream's gone the same way the match has. People aren't quite on it.
I'm going to drop out and then I'll drop back in.
Okay.
I think you. Okay, no worries. Yeah, so I think it was my internet just dropped down for a second there, but I mean, we had that 25 minutes of just good play football, and then after that, we just kind of backed off. We allowed Sunderland back into the game. And this is something that Enzo has been quite good at, which is maintain the game, controlling possession. And I think it was very easy, Anil, to get Sunderland back into the game, which I wouldn't say it was undeserved, but it was unnecessary.
Yeah, I mean, he's for a manager who prioritizes control of the game so much, that's got to be. I think we had zero control in that second half, to be honest with you. He might say differently afterwards, but I just felt they were making chance after chance. We were giving it away scrappy. We barely, if at all, had a goal threat the other side. We couldn't keep the ball for more than a couple of passes. I think Winks had a real off day today. It didn't help there. I mean, to be fair, they were putting the two men on both the sixes, but yeah, it goes to show that like if our sixes have an off day, then you're in trouble. So that wasn't good. And it's just a bit annoying because the start was completely different to that. But maybe, they started very hesitant to begin with. And I think they just showed us too much respect. I mean, we kind of always took the piss a little bit. And then when they got into it, though, then maybe we were guilty of doing the same thing. Like, got to remember, we're still the league leaders. We still got man for man much better than them. We should be able to pass them off the pitch kind of thing. So, yeah, I think that's something we're going to have to work on because, there's definitely a pattern. It seems like if we get ahead, then we're normally getting something out of a game. As if we go behind when we're in trouble. So I guess it's good that this time around we got ahead again and saw it out. And at least we've got another clean sheet because I think we've conceded, 7 goals in the last couple of matches. Clean sheets will probably be the thing that gets us promoted if we do it. But this definitely felt like, limping over the line type of performance. But as Ant says, I think you're totally right. At this time in the season, it really doesn't matter how you get the win. It's just the win that counts. Just keep going. How many games we've got left after this one? 10, I think, haven't we? We're into the last 10 now. I guess 7 wins probably would be enough. I don't know. It's getting tighter and tighter up there. And our rivals, I can't believe we let them back in it. It's so frustrating.
But you know what I find strange about today? I think this is probably our worst performance. Sorry, Ipswich just hit the post. I can't multitask to save my life, but
all right, I'll just give you that comment instead.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all my fault.
Leicester.
But you know what I find strange about today is like football is a funny game, isn't it? But I would say that this was a worse performance in us than Middlesbrough and Leeds was, but a much better result. But saying that, as much as, and I know Sunderland had a lot of shots in the second half, they didn't have any clear-cut opportunities, really. They were sort of pot shots and like shots where they hadn't particularly broken us down. They had a lot of the ball on the edge of our box and a lot of balls coming into the box, but they didn't feel like there was any clear-cut chances.
I know what I mean. I do feel Mads did make quite a few saves, though, to stop it going in, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll just take the win and on to the next one, I'd say. But we're going to need to play a lot better than that, I think. I mean, personally, when we were watching that match, if that ended 1-1, you'd be like, it's totally
here we go.
Not
again.
only is it unexpected, but you couldn't really argue that was in my opinion, anyway, the result.
Yeah, I think one thing that I wanted to touch on quickly as well Did anyone else think KDH at the end was making some really awful decisions, like just running the ball into players when we were on the counter, and it's like trying to dribble out from our own box. It's like I really like KDH, but like the game management there seemed absolutely horrendous.
I think he wasn't great all game, to be honest. I think he was quiet. I think he was missing. I think Yunus was actually better than him, to be honest with you. And probably I'll put it when the subs came on for Ndidi. I was like, it's quite unfortunate that that Yunus been taken off. I think he's been the better out of the 2-8s.
KDH he's not the golden boy though, is he? So he's always going to get dragged. But I agree with you.
But my thing is, I don't think KDH was great, but I don't think he was particularly poor. He just didn't impact the game as much as a player who's rated as highly at this level should. But I was doing my watch along. I was losing it with him in that last 5 minutes because he dribbled it straight. He tried to dribble it straight out of our own box twice, and then we're on a counter attack. I think it was a 4-on-2, and then didn't release the ball. Tried to win a foul and draw a foul, and didn't even get the decision. Again, him not getting the decision, probably it was a foul, but it's like in that situation, I don't understand why he's trying to draw a foul in the first place.
Yeah.
But again, my thing with Dewsbury Hall is because he's been put on this pedestal of up here is where his standards are. I think we expect that from him a lot. I don't think he had a bad game today, but I don't think he had a level of game where to what his reputation is. I don't know if that's making sense, but
yeah, no, absolutely it does. Yeah.
Go on, Anil.
I totally agree with you. I think for someone, look, I think he just got nervous, to be honest with you. The whole team, a lot of them didn't look that confident. You know, it's funny, he didn't affect the game that much from an attacking point of view, but I probably felt Fatawa was our best player. He was making some great physical challenges, getting stuck in, showing the resilience where it was needed. Yeah, it's just funny for a team that's had such an amazing season that we can look so nervous. But, you know, it just because we've had a bad one, hopefully a few good results can restore us to being confident again. Because clearly confident Leicester's a very good team, but nervous Leicester isn't so much. I mean, it does worry me, though, not just for the rest of this season, but next season. You know, now for the first time, it's unbelievable. We were talking records point tally and stuff like this. And now it's just like, God, let's just get up. I don't care how or, you know, it's going to be a frenetic end to the season. Fair play to Ipswich, especially. I think after they looked like they'd thrown it away, they're right back in it now. And we've got to keep setting the pace. And I think now, do you know when the Southampton games got moved to? Hull will be difficult away because they've really upgraded their team recently. But I personally felt that after the Southampton game, whilst there are no easy games in the division, there weren't that many games that particularly terrified me. I actually thought this was one of the harder ones that we had coming up because Sunderland played really good against us at the King Power. They are a good team. They got to the playoffs last year and they've got some star players. I know we've got to play, I think, like Norwich and Bristol again and teams like that. And that no team is going to be easy, but I would feel more comfortable, I think, against those teams. Whereas I felt like if we're going to drop points, yeah, I say it, I think Hull, Southampton and this one, you know. But then again, we've dropped points to QPR and Borough, so what can we say?
My thing is, I would have agreed with you if I hadn't talked to Michael Bowers, who's a Sunderland fan before this, who was said that they couldn't kick a football and they're an absolutely useless footballing side and all of that. But my thing is with Sunderland, under Tony Mowbray, they're quite excited. Like, they weren't, like, I don't think they would have got promoted, but they would have been knocking on the door of playoffs. And they were always exciting, always played good football. But they just feel stale now.
Yeah, they've lost that X factor that they had under him, absolutely. But, you know, the thing is, though, is that teams are always going to raise their game against us. I mean, yeah, I think that the QPR and Borough games, look at QPR, you could tell like what it meant to them. They were really like, it's easy, you know, they know going into that game, they've got to be at their best. And yeah, that is a challenge that we're always going to have. You know, you learn a lot about our players, I think, in those kind of games. And yeah, I think that's maybe, you know, what you said and what the comment there said about Kiernan Dewsbury Hall and him being like player of the season. I do agree that he's still got a bit of that hangover from last season where, you know, that happened to us time and time again last season, that when we really needed like a big one from Maddison, from Tielemans, from Keane and Dewsbury Hall in the running, especially. They went absent, and sometimes, like for example, I think it was Villa we played, and there was like a turnover. They scored a really great goal from long range, and it sort of closed in on the players, and you saw that they wanted to hide. They weren't like, okay, come on, we've done well, let's go. They were more like, oh, just let the ground swallow me up kind of thing. I think he's still got a bit of that mentality.
Was that the game that Dewsbury Hall got sent off as well against Aston Villa? I think he got sent off.
One. Was that last year?
Yeah. Because I think I was at the point of like, you know what? He was crap, but at least he was running around and actually getting stuck in. Because that's where the standards were last year, where he weren't playing particularly well, but he actually gave a bit of a crap.
Did we win 4-2 and then we drew 0-0?
No, we lost the home game, yeah.
That was when Tete sold us a dream of being like the next Neymar, wasn't it?
That was the first game. Yeah, that was probably one of the best. That and the Spurs game, which were one after another, and we probably thought, oh, okay, we're not going to go down after all. But
Harry Suter was looking like prime Harry Maguire for us.
I don't think he ever looked good.
Christensen was looking brilliant.
Yeah,
what a time to be alive.
Yeah, we've done it
and then
again.
We were back to crap.
Yeah, exactly.
But coming back to the game as well, again, in terms of the second half, we got worse. And part of it, again, we have to give credit to Sunderland and how the Sunderland decided to set up. So they decided to change it in the second. They saw what happened at QPR. They decided to play in that they changed to a 4-5-1. I've not got the exact players in the exact positions here, but they changed to a 4-4-1, put the two banks in, and I've not labelled it. I've not had time to label, unfortunately. But we've got all the players there. But the idea is they made that bank. Again, it's just a blueprint. They saw it worked against QPR. They saw it worked against other teams. We're going to play against that, and Leicester couldn't break them down.
No, but again, it's like I feel like we're at a point now where, and I'm sounding like a broken record. It's like I don't care at this stage of the season how we play. I just want to see points on the board. It's like if we can't break teams down, we get a goal. It
doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It's like if we play brilliantly for 80 minutes as we did against Leeds and don't get a point, it's like you want to see fantastic football, you want to see fantastic performances, but this stage of the season, more than any other stage, points on the board are the most important thing.
Yeah, makes sense.
Amen.
And I think as part of that, this is normally, again, we're not trying to compare us to Man City too much. This is where Man City take it into another gear and they just go win.
And their performances as well are relentless. I don't know if you watch for Derby.
Yeah, we're talking about that. Exactly. Even though they went one behind to a worldie, they just keep going and going and going and going.
But the thing that I liked about, we're going to go off topic here, is how high Rodri sat sort of in that game, and it was just suffocating Man United in. And it's like they almost wanted United to leave a player up the pitch as well, so that then there's a gap to expose. Because it feels like when you play Man City, it's like you're screwed if you do, you're screwed if you don't, kind of thing. It's like you're just chasing shadows, aren't you? Playing them. Right.
Well, but that's, I guess, as Pernille's point is, I think then what we didn't do so well today. So I think, yes, they had like a change of shape, but what disappointed me is that like we just completely lost control of the game. Like it's okay to have a flat performance and to try and kill off the game if you've got like 70% of possession and they're barely touching the ball. In fact, that's quite a good way to do it. I wouldn't necessarily. I mean, you might still be like, oh, I'd really like it if we got the second one to kill off the game, but it wasn't that at all. There was too much of kind of like they were having all these free kicks. We were giving away bad fouls because we were playing ourselves into trouble. That's what we need to like somehow improve. Look, you're right. We said it multiple times. End of the day, we'll take anything right now. It's just about getting those points. We definitely don't want to go into the lottery that is the playoffs. It's such even though we actually have got some good memories there as Leicester fans, you don't ever want to leave it to chance. But yeah, that's, I think, the thing that's missing is that, and especially that we had such a dominant performance at the start of the game. It's okay even to take your foot off the gas a little bit, but just don't let them have the ball. And I agree exactly what you said about Keane and Dewsbury Hall at the end of the game with those bad decisions. What we should have done there is, I think I said it to the lads when we were watching the game. We had the ball, I think, in like the 89th minute. And I was like, okay, from now on, they should not touch the ball. That's what a good team would do. The other team's never going to see the ball again. Mads gets the ball. First thing he does, smashes it downfield. Somehow we win the ball back. Kieran Dewsbury Hall just runs into traffic, loses the ball. It ricochets to Mavadidi, loses the ball. It's like, oh my God, guys, just, just run to the corner flag, do that, and get yourself the foul. That's what needs to be done there. So anyway, we've got away with it.
We have. Go for it.
Quick question, and it's completely off topic. Do we know why Vardy's back heel goal was disallowed?
He shoved someone off the ball.
He blew and spray. He blew the whistle, but when you looked at it back again, it really didn't look like it should have been ruled out. But to be fair, the whistle came in early, so he kept playing on. But I think if you're in the Premier League, because they would allow play to continue until the next phase, they would have given that goal. But then I also think VAR would have probably given them at least one, if not two penalties. So you got to be, yeah, exactly. So there you go. It would have been a nice goal if it went in, though. That's for sure.
Yeah. I love the fact when Vardy scored, he was straight over to the Sunderland fans as well.
Yeah,
I love to see it.
Yeah, especially on Narvis as well. And yeah, again, the main thing is we got the win. At the end of the day, I think again a couple of subs I want to mention. Obviously, Wilfred Ndidi. It's good to see him back. I think we needed that kind of defensive solidity a little bit more. But in terms of that, it was not much to judge because it was only about 20 minutes.
He made a difference, I think. I honestly think he did. I think when he first came on, he did give away, I think, 1 or 2 free kicks. So you'd be like, oh, he's been out for a while. But I think as the game went on, he got into the right places. He made it because the thing is with Eunice is you notice this a lot. It's not his fault, but because he's a small guy, is that people push him around a bit, which allows them to dominate in those kind of exchanges when it gets there. Like there was I think 5 minutes from the end where I just started laughing to you guys going, this reminds me of what the championship is all about, where it's just ping-ponging all over the place. It's not quality, but it's just like, smash. It's like, who wants it more? That's what I've always thought about a championship. It often comes down to just who wants it more, who's going to win the game. And look, we got away with it, which is good. But I thought that Wolf played his part in that with that physicality. And hopefully he's all right because I think him being restored to the lineup will make a big difference to us going forward.
Just on that as well, I've just seen this. Enzo Moresco told me that Wilfred Ndidi wasn't meant to play any minutes.
Yeah. I am actually not surprised. I just hope that means that he's not screwed because, it's one of those where like he's done. Basically, this is the first time that Enzo's done a Brendan, to be honest with you, where he's rushed the player back that he shouldn't have to do. But to be honest with you, he's probably right. Like if we lose or draw this game again and the teams are breathing down our neck again, it's really not good. And you just want to arrest the slide, right? You just want to make it like, okay, come on, guys, we can do this. So good. But yeah, I think I've been seeing people saying, will Ndidi be our savior? I mean, we might end up being, you never know.
Saying about Ndidi as well, something that I liked is like towards the end of the game, the end of when Atgun was playing, Fatawu seemed to be they seemed to be overloading that side and creating a lot of 2v1s, which were
good relationship, isn't it?
Yeah. Ndidi, like as hard as Atgun works defensively, Ndidi's got more of that defensive IQ and that defensive brain of where to be, where to stop passing lanes, stop sort of those balls into the box. And not only was he a physical presence in terms of getting his head on the ball, I thought he stopped a lot of crosses as well and made it a lot harder for the ball to come into the box.
I don't know if you saw this, but Enzo actually said midweek that for the 8s, it's important that they have to be able to defend like a 6, but they need to be able to attack like an 8. He's kind of hinted at that. And that's I think, why he was interested in Sensi. That's why he liked Casadei and why he was basically hinting that we're desperate to have Wolf back. So, yeah, it's interesting that because that was at the start of the season, was like, there's no way he's going to use him as an attacking midfielder. But I think that's his point, is that if you have them there, you can win the ball back. Because I noticed as well that after he got up to speed a little bit, Sunderland did start having less of the ball and we actually started competing and it was more 50-50, whereas before that it was 60-40. And that's what I think is really good. I think our best performance is when we run the high press, the other team can't get out of their half. Every time they do have a shot, we just pass it around them and it's like they're not even there. There's only one team in the game. So let's just hope that he's still good to go. But, I get a feeling if that's true, he's still not even really in a position to start the next game. But maybe Maresca's just like, okay, just give him the injections because he's got to play.
And I think he makes that, you mentioned in Fatal's one thing. Something that went under the radar. I think Hamza Chowdhury looked a lot more comfortable with him playing in front as well. At times the ball was coming to him, playing in some decent positions. But when Wolf came into the team, Hamza kind of relaxed a little bit more and go, again, it's not all on me to try and create everything. And I've got a guy in front of me that can go and just hoover up all the little bits of business. So I thought that was interesting to mention as well, because Hamza was okay in this game. It was decent for periods of time, but when he came on, it just Wolf kind of, I think, just controlled everything a little bit more, which was really useful for our team.
Well, I like Hamza's doing a job at the moment, but he very much does look like a round hole in a square peg on the ball. And like, I don't know if this is just the difference in drop off, because Ricardo's one of those players that's a top tier player playing in a second tier division, and like he looks an absolute level above. But for me, Chowdhury, whilst he's doing a job and he's doing half decent, like the difference in the build up play that you see when Ricardo's playing and when Hamza's playing is night and day.
I see what you mean. I think that it is because Ricardo is one of the best. We've got a few of the best players in the Championship, but Ricardo is just that, and I think we are missing him quite drastically in the team. There's no coincidence that him out of the team when we are struggling, because he does not just the defensive work, he connects the defense and attack, and he always is there to just bail us out of bad decisions as well.
Also, do you think, and I don't know if I'm overlooking at this, that a part of the wingers drop off in performance is Ricardo not being there, because Ricardo links so well with both of those wingers and he gets into those pockets of space, is creating sort of more space for our wingers compared to Chowdhury. Because Ricardo makes it off quite often, it'll be a 2v1 against a fullback. When it's Chowdhury in that inverted role, it feels to me like it's always Mavidi in a 1v1 against a fullback, or Fatwa with a 1v1 against a fullback.
Anil, do you want to go for that?
I think it's a fair point, but I personally actually think Ndidi missing has been, if you look at the stats, that's what we've seen. It since it's like with him in the team, we're like almost unbeaten, and with him out of the team, we lose a lot. Yeah, you're definitely going to miss Ricardo. I don't think Hamza was too bad today. I think point definitely taken about, it definitely feels like the more budget version, shall we say. That's definitely true. But other than almost giving a penalty away right at the death, I think he was otherwise solid and got involved with physical challenges. But look, I just think collectively we've been off form throughout the team, really. That's kind of the worry, is that, and that's a challenge for any manager. It's like if one or two players is off form, that's okay. You bring on your subs, but like when everyone on the team is and look, we saw that against the Borough game, where that's where it really started. Against Middlesbrough, everyone played a bad game. Then against Leeds, we were amazing, but bottled it. And then I don't know, I don't want to like conspiracy theory or anything like that, but it always feels like what's going on behind the scenes for this drop off to all of a sudden happen. I don't know. Is it some people getting contract talk, some people not? But yeah,
it feels like confidence, though, because confidence for me is like when you're flying, confidence is like flowing and all of that. Everything just seems to come off that a little bit better. It's like when things aren't quite working, like confidence just isn't there. But I think that going to Sunderland and getting a clean sheet in the way that we have, not the best performance, but a gritty sort of ugly dugout performance. I'm hoping that will do confidence world of good. And I almost feel like Hull it'll be a different kind of game, but they're going to have much more of a go at us, I think, in terms of, I know Sunderland really had a go second half, but in terms of the way that they create and sort of try and play expansive, instead of Sunderland was very much just get the ball in the box and try and cause havoc.
Yeah,
I think Hull will be much more sort of technically trying to play through us kind of thing. I think they're going to try and go much more toe to toe with us, which I think will suit us.
And do you think that'll have more? Yeah. Do you think? Do you think that'll be something that we're going to thrive off of? Because if we play like that, if we play like we do against Sunderland against them, it's a different result in my opinion.
Potentially, but I also think if we try and go toe to toe with many teams, then we blow them away. But it's like that's with the quality we have on paper. But it's again, it goes back to confidence, doesn't it?
Hull in the first game, they completely sat off us, didn't they? And they got a really scammy goal and they were lucky to get away with it. But they do normally, they've just drawn today with Birmingham. So it'd be interesting to see what they do if they decide to have a go or not. I'm not sure which one works better for us, if they sit off and go play smash and grab or they try and go for us kind of thing. It could be either or. Normally they do try and play that expansive football. They've definitely made some good signings. Like I keep saying that Fabio Carvalho, I mean, you know, really, why has he not ended up at Leicester? Well, we know we haven't got the money, but I mean, you know, definitely missed out on one there. Great player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really good player, and we've missed that. But again, we've got this team to the end of the season. We've got 10 more games, and it's just interesting to see Enzo's comments as well. So I was expecting, okay, what is Enzo going to say in particular? And then this appeared on my timeline. I don't know if anybody's seen this before. Really giving it the big ones, which I thought I didn't expect him to go this. Can't quite explain that.
That's sort of like a Zerby kind of comment, isn't it? After a big win, where you're like, he's fully gone overboard, and I'm all for it.
I think it's important though, isn't it? Like, to be honest, it is managerial. Like, you've got to get the confidence back. You just called it there, and the team is not confident right now. So make them feel like $1 million. You know, that's actually why at the weekend, for example, like that substituting Yunus who came on as a substitute, I actually thought that was pretty poor management, even if you felt he wasn't playing good, because what are you really doing there? You're ruining a player's confidence, and he's had to start this game. How's that going to feel, you know?
Yunus looked like he hobbled off though against QPR. He didn't look like he came off comfortably. So
all right.
I don't know if that might have had something to do with it, but it's one of those. Compare that to some of the comments last year we had about Brendan Rodgers about all of our teams being crap, about overachieving and like up and pipe down kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Neil, bring up the table if you don't mind then.
Let's go. You know, I had the table and all the top scores and everything ready to go as well.
Well, after someone jinxed one of the results, it's important to see what's happened by the end of it.
Who did that? What idiot celebrated a penalty getting missed in the...
Well, look, I was going to say, I still, at the start of the season, if you'd have told me with 10 games to go, would be 6 points clear, top of the championship, you'd have taken that all day, every day. So now the running begins. We've also played Leeds twice. We played Ipswich twice. We've got a big game against Southampton. I think, do we have to play the Baggies one more time as well?
Yeah, we play them.
And we got Hull. So that's still a bit tricky. We've got 3 of the top 6 still to play. And we've got Norwich. That's 4 of the top 7. So it's going to be a tough one there. But we can do it. We've definitely still got the quality to beat anybody in this division. Oh, in fact, we're only 3 points clear. Oh my God, you know. So actually, I don't know what I'm talking about. We're only 3 points clear. There you go. 5 points clear of the. Yeah.
I think the frustration is where we were a few weeks ago. It's like,
yeah,
that's why it's frustrating. But it's now like, what's done is done. It's like there's no point dwelling on that. It's now about the next 10 games and just sort of like focusing on what you can change, not what you can't.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's just, again, we're going to be able to just look at who's playing around us and what results they're getting as well. So
I hate that though. It should never have anything to do with that. That's not a good.
I know, but you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. But yeah, that's where we are at this moment in time. I don't think we have really anything. I don't think is there anything else to it. I think one thing to mention, just because it's been a bit of a sticking point for me, some individual players that we've not mentioned so far. Harry Winks, I didn't look on it at all today. I think he went missing, especially in that second half.
I think first half, when it was going well, he was on the ball so much, and like when it wasn't going well, he wasn't getting on the ball. So I don't know if you blame it on Winks for not getting him in positions to get him on the ball, or if the ball just wasn't being fed to him enough. But at the same time, when we're under sort of an aerial bombardment like we were, Sunderland, he's not really a player that is going to stand out.
Mm-hmm. I think it's if we have the form, if we have possession, Winks plays well. If we don't have possession, he just goes missing because he wants the ball at his feet. He wants to be able to dictate play. And again, I think it may be because Ricardo's not there as well. It doesn't get the best out of Winks.
I don't know. I think Winks is one of those that he, like, in certain situations, at like breaking up counter-attacks, I think he gets himself about the pitch quite well. But it's that physical side of the game where the ball's sort of being put on him and dealing with crosses. It's not his game, is it?
I guess so. But again, we just need to get him back. Anil, got any thoughts on that?
No, nothing more to add.
Fair enough. I think that's pretty much everything. I don't think there's anything else to mention, but 3 points, we get the win on to the next game against Hull.
Can't wait.
Well, I'm really nervous. I mean, it's only 5 points then clear from Leeds. Let's see where we go. But hopefully the boys can do it. And as you say, bygones be bygones. Let's concentrate and see if we can do it.
Yeah, exactly. And then just coming into this last one before we go. Again, last comment from that. Very important from Maresca. It's very important win today after 3 defeat. We won the game an ugly way tonight, but winning is the way part of the process of improving as a team. And again, that's kind of it's kind of what you guys mentioned before as well. It's like where we need someone to come in and go, yeah, look, we were terrible. He's saying the right things in order to try and galvanize the team and get them back to where we are. And hopefully, again, coming back to the table, that'll keep us in the top spot for the rest of the season. I think we've lost many games to Southampton, actually, with 7. But again, 4, not too bad at the moment. I mean, our against was a lot worse than that, a lot better than that. But we're in all right position. Again, hang on. It's going to be a long old season, but hopefully we can get better at that. So yeah, make sure you follow Anchant. I'll leave his link down you've already got in the description. Here you go. Thanks to Anil for going on. I will see everybody in the next video. So goodbye.